What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Grant.
And I am Alex.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so we are back
Yes.
to finally deliver on our promise
Indeed.
to review the Rebuild of Evangelion. Oh boy.
Very much anticipated.
Very much anticipated. I mentioned this on Patreon. I mentioned this on the community tab. I mentioned this in videos. We've mentioned this quite a bit, actually.
Yes, indeed we have.
And so, Alex, for the preparation of this, we have rewatched all three of the Rebuild movies, including the newest trailer. And we're going to discuss what our thoughts are on that. Starting with Evangelion 1.0. Alex, what did you think of Evangelion 1.0?
I think it pretty much answered a lot of the questions I got from watching the series, but also brought up a lot of newer and better points and made more things a little bit clearer than the series did.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it better than that because it had more substance to it, you know?
Well, the first Evangelion 1.0 follows episodes 1 through 6, essentially. Beat for beat, really.
Yeah.
There's very little deviation.
Like, I usually don't like rewatching stuff, but even rewatching that with some of the scenes here and there, it was still enjoyable because I liked the new things that they added. And I thought it was better.
I think they definitely got the pacing down a lot better, because in the show, obviously, they spend a lot of time with Shinji kind of moping around, which a lot of people don't like, and it can be tedious, and which is why I've told people, stick with the show up all the way up to episode 8 to where it gets a lot of really fun. This movie doesn't really have that, because the whole movie is kind of fun and engaging the whole way through, and I do like how they updated it.
Yeah, it looks a lot better from the original series.
Well, of course, this is 2007, and I mean, it still holds up. I'll give it that. It really holds up. To be honest, I don't have too much thoughts on Evangelion 1.0, because there's not a lot that's changed. There are differences, obviously. Like, clearly in this version, for some odd reason, Misato knows about Lilith is underground.
Yeah, that's I thought was weird, because I was like, wait, in the series, wasn't that supposed to be a secret?
Yeah.
Like a really, really, really top secret?
Yeah, and then it's kind of like, well, that raises up the questions like, okay, does everybody know about this then? Or
it's like, how many other people know? Is it one of these things that they know, but they think they're the only person that knows, so they're trying to keep it a secret from everyone else, but everyone else already knows?
Well, it's like, okay, like if we're going by the knowledge of Nerve, it's like, okay, then why does everywhere else have Evangelions then? To protect themselves. Like, well, they're only going to Japan clearly for a reason, to get Lilith or to do something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, don't you think the other countries would be like, I wonder why they're only going over there? We should probably check that out. And then the higher ups are just, nah.
Well, I assumed everybody kind of knows about that. I could be wrong.
It would be really, really hard not to.
I mean, yeah, who would not know about Lilith being underground? So that's a difference. Another, I mean, there are a few differences in this movie, which is why I find it kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah, it's mainly the same thing, just with scenes altered that make it better.
Yeah, it's just kind of updated.
Yes.
It's updated, upgraded to make it, better than the first 6 episodes. That doesn't necessarily mean that I think you can watch this movie instead of the first 6 episodes, because you do miss a lot of, like, the kind of friendship bond that is created with, Shinji and his friends, which is completely absent in this movie. They just kind of show up out of nowhere.
They're like, "Hey, we're your classmates. Let's be friends."
There's literally no introduction. Like, it just straight cuts right to Toji just beating the crap out of Shinji.
Yeah, it's like him punching him in the face, and then the next episode or in the next scene, they're like buddy together.
Well, it's like there was a lot more to it in the series, where it's like, okay, it's like, okay, he comes to the classroom, and it's like you see him like in distress. Like, you get the context. He's been gone for days. He went to visit his sister. She's been hurt because of the pilot in the.
Well, she was hurt because of the she
debris,
was collateral,
essentially. So that's why he's mad at Shinji, and that's what makes him want to beat him up or punch him. So it's like, okay, in the series it makes sense. Here it's a straight hard cut, and if you're not familiar with the series, it's like,
It's just
what?
And he's getting punched in the face.
I don't.
All right.
They do explain it. Actually, I was about to say I don't think they explain it.
They do explain it, but after the fact, or. Well, yeah, technically it is after the fact, but it's still in the same scene.
Yeah, they do explain it, and it's just like, I don't know.
But it's kind of just a quick explanation. There's no build up to it.
Yes.
Like, it's just, oh yeah, his sister was caught in the rubble, and he doesn't like you for it, so there you go.
It's essentially just exposition.
Yeah.
Just like, there's no, like, character build up to it. It's just like, oh,
yeah,
he punched you because of this, Shinji, and then that's kind of it.
You want to know why he punched you? This is why he punched you. Now you know why he punched you. Let's be friends.
Yeah. I mean, besides that, I mean, I can't really think of too many problems I have with this movie, because I think 1.0 is actually pretty solid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I watched it right after the series, all those years ago, when it came out.
All those years ago.
And
this morning.
Well, I rewatched it, of course. But, you know, when I first watched it, I thought it was pretty damn good. I found it very engaging. The changes are very minute, but I mean, I guess we forgot to mention the whole ocean. It's just red for some reason in this series.
Everything is dead. There's nothing in there. It's just red. It's like it's like God put in a giant pack of Kool-Aid in the ocean, and there is nothing in there.
Yeah, and that's never explained.
I just assumed it was because, you know, when the angels die, they explode and a bunch of red goopy stuff comes out. I assume that's their blood.
Right.
And it contaminated the ocean and killed all the wildlife.
Well, I have my own kind of theory on that, but we'll get to that at a later point in this video.
I suppose we will.
But yeah, so like besides like them knowing about Lilith, of course, less character development with his friends and the water being red, which is a visual difference.
Speaking of Lilith, wasn't it Adam in the basement first?
No, they mistook it for Adam.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Lilith.
It's
right. Lilith.
I got confused.
I don't remember, and I don't care to check, but maybe Misato thinks it's Adam. I think she thinks it's Adam, but it's really Lilith. I'm just calling it Lilith because I've known it as Lilith all these years, so I don't care. It's just
in the movie and the show, the masks are different.
Oh yeah, that's the only. Oh yeah, that's another visual difference.
Yeah, I liked the original one because it matched the. What were they called? The C's? Soleil?
Yeah.
It matched their logo, and I like the link to that.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get more with Soleil later.
Yes.
But yeah, as of the first movie, I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't have too much to say about it.
Because there's not too much different with it.
Yeah, there's not too much different, but I will say, it's a lot of eye candy.
Yes.
It's a lot of eye candy. It's beautiful to look at.
Don't watch this if you have epilepsy, though. It will fuck you up.
Yeah, it gets pretty intense sometimes.
Like, even for me, I don't mind staring directly into a strobe light, but even this hurt my eyes. It was
points. Not the whole movie.
Points, not the whole movie, but at points it hurt my eyes. So just as a fair warning.
But yeah, I love the animation in this movie. I think that's
it is way better.
Well, of course, like
I know, of course it is because it's tuned up technology.
Yeah,
but I'm
this
just
guy
saying.
he got like the best animators. Ano Hideki, of course. I just be clear.
Yes.
You know, he got all the best animators around. You know, he's a great animator himself. Like he got a top-notch team to work on this movie. And you could definitely tell. Everything looks great. Even the CGI didn't bother me in this movie.
Yeah, usually when shows transition from or try to incorporate CGI into sort of 2D animation, I hate it. Because it always looks like just something that they made and just kind of photoshopped in there.
Right.
And it aggravates me because they switch in between the two and it's just jarring.
Yeah.
But this one, I have to say, was almost seamless integration into it.
The studio who works on this, like, which is his personal studio, believe it's Kara. Kara and Ufotable. Ufotable being the ones who've done Garden of Sinners and, you know, Fate. They're the best when it comes to 3D animation, and this movie is no exception. Even though it's from 2007, the second angel that shows up in the movie is the only one where it's like, okay, it's obvious that it's CGI. But, like, the very last one, it's like, oh, that was really cool.
It's like, was that hand-drawn? Nope, 3D model, baby.
So I think I personally, I have nothing more to say about Evangelion 1.0. I think it's a good movie. I think it's really entertaining. I find the animation to be steals the show.
Yes.
So that's, what do you think?
I agree. I think it is really good. Like I said, I liked it better than the series, but the series still had more development in it.
Yes.
Than the movie. Well,
the first 6
naturally,
episodes,
because
the first 6 episodes do have more development and have a lot more to it, but as a remake of the first 6 episodes, it does its job.
Yeah,
good.
It does its job, but I know it's kind of hard comparing a TV series to a movie.
To a 1 hour and 40-minute movie.
So just let it be known that it is still faithful to the source material, but it kind of cuts out a few points.
Yeah, and it changes very little.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Evangelion 1.0.
Number 1. So Grant, what did you think about 2.0?
All right. I got a lot of thoughts on this one.
Oh, do you now?
All right, so I think we both agree 1.0 did not change much and is overall a good movie.
Yes.
2.0 is not a mess, but it's messy. And it changes a lot, actually.
A lot.
Quite a bit. It has some of the same story beats, certain elements that are in the show, like, and when I mean elements, I mean literal just scenes or moments of dialogue that are similar to the TV series. But other than that, it's very different.
Yeah.
And some of it really works for me. Others do not. What about you?
I kind of agree with that too, because I almost kind of took it as like an alternate, not reality, but storyline. Like it went in a different direction based on the choices that they made in the first movie. Kind of like the series and movies are disjointed, even though they're supposed to be based on each other.
Right.
But I thought it was kind of like 2 paths.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it more bearable.
It's definitely an interesting movie to watch. Not without its problems, but it's interesting. I think more so than the first movie, this one strips away a little bit too much character development. There are things that I really like in it. The things I really okay, just get it out of the way. I love certain elements of this movie. It has one of my favorite opening scenes, which I've discussed. You know, when Tokyo 3 wakes up.
Yes.
It's a masterpiece of a scene. I love that scene. I love the scene where, you know, Shinji, Asuka, and Misato, they're in their apartment just kind of lounging around and doing nothing and just kind of, you know, everyday life. I like that. I also liked where they go to like it's not an aquarium, but you know what I mean.
Would it be a nature preserve?
Kind of. It's like a nature preserve. They're trying to restore the oceans.
It's like a really, 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 really big aquarium.
Yeah, so I like that scene. I like all the scenes that have to do with like the characters kind of interacting and getting along and having fun. And that's really all I like about the movie. Everything else
I like the good bits.
I don't really like too much.
Yeah. Again, epilepsy warning. I'm pretty sure that should go on every single one of these movies. Epilepsy warning.
Well, I mean, I don't find it to be too bad in this one, but I mean,
yeah, it's not as bad as the first one, but also neither of those are as bad as the third one.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah, so 2.0, I think, gets rid of too much story in service of action. Yeah. And a big part of the movie is seeing the action, and I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the action in the Rebuild movie of 2.0. It gets a little bit too crazy and not as kind of realistic and down to earth as the original series was, because in the original series it's kind of slow for the most part, or it just seems believable in the universe that it's in. And here it's like they're just flying about and just going crazy, and it's like everything's insane, and it's like, these are skyscrapers. They would not move so seamlessly.
It's like, yeah, no, that would be a horrible catastrophe that would not work like that.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, okay, these are...
You gotta make it pretty for the people.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it looks good. Like, I can't fault them on that. It looks good, but it's just like, it's at the service of nothing. You know, there's not enough of the story to really get into. Like, Episode 8 is one of my favorite episodes in Evangelion, probably my favorite episode, where Asuka arrives, And it's so good in terms of the story and the development of Asuka, and just kind of her introduction as a whole is very charming. In here, she just kind of falls from the sky, and
she's kind of comes in and
there.
Starts acting like a bitch, and then, oh, she's here now.
Yeah, whereas in the first episode, I mean, Asuka really wasn't that bitchy. She was just kind of like, oh, like, I'm really arrogant. Good. Like, I'm really good. And then, like, she's with Shinji, and they're kind of getting along and kind of having fun. It's really charming.
This one is just, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, she kind of just gets irritating at one point, and then she gets better, and then they drop her from the movie altogether.
She gets kind of better, and they're like, nah.
I like kind of where they were going with her character. I like how she goes into Shinji's room and, you know, stays there because she doesn't want to be alone. It's like, okay, this is sweet.
Yeah. I like development, yay!
It's like, oh my god, development. I like how Rei wants to cook a meal for everybody and get, you know, the Akari team, you know, together. You know, let's get them to work together.
Let's get them to laugh together.
And then Asuka's jealous, so she wants to cook for Shinji. All that's adorable. It's really adorable. And I do like it how Misato comes in and teases her. Of course, my favorite character in the whole goddamn series is better than ever. Kaji, he shows up and really does nothing for a majority of the movie.
You really don't see him as much as you do in the series.
No, not at all.
Yeah. You see him for a couple of scenes. Like, he asks directions and molests one of the scientists, and then that's it.
And then he kind of talks to Shinji about his melons, and I mean, and then he goes to the bar with Misato. I mean, I'm just literally counting all the scenes that he's in.
Yeah,
but
you can literally count on one hand how many scenes he's in. When in the show, again, there was development.
Yeah, and then he doesn't even get his time to shine at the end. You know, like how you remember in the series how he's the one who talks to Shinji, and that's what leads him to go, yeah, I'm gonna get back in the Evangelion.
In this one, it's some girl I didn't know.
Oh yeah, Mari. We haven't even spoken about her.
It's okay. Literally the way we introduced her is the way the movie introduced her. She was just kind of, hey, this character exists. Have fun with her.
Yeah, okay. We need to back up. a little bit. Okay, so the movie opens up with a completely new scene, straight out of nowhere. This is where Mari is in Eva unit, and she's in a base in bumfuck nowhere. I don't know.
With the most idiotic design of an angel I have ever seen.
The angels tend to be pretty weird, but they have a coolness to them.
Yeah.
This one was not
This
cool.
one was like... This one was so stupid looking. Like, it...
Well, we're not here to criticize the
No,
angels.
It looked like someone stapled fish bones to a horseshoe and duct taped that to a crab. Yeah. It was so stupid.
It looked pretty dumb. The first action scene in the movie, I wasn't terribly engaged in, mainly because I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who Mari is.
I was kind of like, who is she? What is she doing here? Is she this person? No, she's not who I thought she was.
You think you thought she might have been Asuka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, guess not.
Twist. That's the twist. Yeah, so Mari shows
up. What the twist?
Mari is in this movie, and she is a character.
Yes.
She is quirky.
Yes?
I don't know what she is.
She's there.
She's there. She doesn't...
She is there to replace the end scene.
Essentially. Yeah. She's there to really just replace everybody you like, which is my biggest
She's kind of there to just fill in the plot holes.
Well, it's like okay, forget Kaji. They get rid of Kaji.
Yeah.
We need somebody to do a speech with Shinji. Why not Mari? Okay. She doesn't know this fucker. She just met him.
She's like, "Oh, hey, you're here. That's cool. I'm gonna talk to you later. Bye." And then later they talk.
Yeah, essentially. And then it's like, okay, we need somebody to pilot unit, 02. Why not Mari? Because I guess for some reason they decided to not use Toji as the fourth children.
I honestly thought he died in that movie.
Well,
Because I didn't see him after anything.
I mean, I assume everybody dies in that movie.
Well,
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers. I was gonna say yes. Granted, that does happen, but I just assumed he died sooner.
Well,
because after they were put into the control unit, the pod, they were pretty much never seen again until the aquarium episode.
Well, seen, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see them in like the background of one scene, from what I remember, but they never really show up in the movie, and they have no bearing on the plot. Yeah. So they're essentially unimportant to the entire Rebuild series as a whole.
They are cannon fodder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody is. Everybody is.
We'll get to that, okay?
We'll get to that.
I'm saying the important people. The important, unimportant people.
I know. Okay, so Mari shows up. She's in literally 3 scenes in this movie. That's not a joke, mind you.
First of all, she parachutes into the fucking movie. She parachutes into the school. Like, literally, she just injects herself into the plot line.
And then after that, she's just like, well, I'm here.
I'm here. Call me if you need me.
It's like, okay.
You're gonna need me, right?
I think they made a character design, and they're like, oh, we like this. This will be our new marketing tool.
But how do we put it in the show?
And then they went to Ano Hideki, and they're like, so, what's she like? And he's like,
depressing like everything else.
No, she's not. Everyone else is depressed, so make her upbeat. And it's like, that's okay. And that's it.
And they're like, is that it? Yes.
It's like he's like,
okay.
It's like, okay, nobody could think of anything for her to do, so they just replace her with other people.
Yeah.
And I think the whole reason she's in the movie is simply just to make merchandise out of her, which there's a lot of. And that's pretty much it. I don't understand her as a character. I don't understand her personality. I don't know who she is or what's her end goal. And not especially after 3.0, but we'll get to that. Don't worry.
Soon.
Yeah, so 2.0, great things in it. There's a lot of things I really like, but overall, I think it's messy.
Good things, weird movie.
I would think the best way to describe it is sporadically interesting.
Yes.
It's like, at points it can be pretty interesting. The animation's fantastic, which...
It's from 2009!
You should pretty much expect that, but at times it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Deviates from what the show was, and I had a lot of... Especially by the end.
Yes, holy crap.
Oh yeah, we need to discuss the ending.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the ending.
Okay, so
How could we?
Okay, so the end of this movie starts off with the third impact. That's the biggest change by far. Like, everything else is kind of minor differences, but then this is just the biggest change. Okay, so I guess Shinji was... I don't know.
He merged.
He merged.
And exploded, kind of.
And he was the catalyst to the third impact?
The way they described it is that it was the third impact, but not really. Because it was like a half impact.
It was the partial third impact.
It was like the 2.5 impact.
Oh, okay. So it's the lesser cousin, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but they call it the third impact because it's easier.
Right, naturally.
Yeah.
But, okay. Alex, I mean, final thoughts on 2.0.
Like you said, sporadically interesting, deviated a lot from the show, and it was a fun movie, but I feel like there were still some points that could have been touched up.
Right.
Like, okay. I feel like if the time was extended to maybe 2 hours at least, they could have done something more with those little points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually gave Mari a fucking backstory, at least.
Right. All right, well, me personally, I was very disappointed with this movie, mainly because I expected it to open with episode 8, essentially recreating the Asuka when she gets introduced into the movie.
Yes.
I would have loved to have seen that recreated. That would have been amazing, and that would have added a lot more charm that this movie really lacks.
Yeah.
The movie, it has good things about it. I like the character moments. I mean, really, like what I wanted is, like, I want to see more character stuff. Like, action's cool. Well, not here. I don't like it here. But action is great. But it's like, you know, like every now and again, it's like you want to see your characters kind of happy and not having to deal with action.
It's like I'm already depressed. I don't want to watch other people be depressed.
Like, you know, like I'm the guy who wants to see like, okay, like, hey guys, let's go to the mall, and it's like, you know, Shinji's like, oh man, Asuka, you have to drag me to the mall. He's like, hey, Baka Shinji, get over here, like we got to do all this, and it's like they're going crazy. It's like I want to see this crap more, but instead their main focus is let's recreate some cool action scenes, and they look stupid.
Let's kill shit.
Yeah, so I think I'm done with 2.0.
You're done?
My final thoughts is essentially, it's okay.
It's
It's okay. I love certain scenes.
Yes.
But it's just okay in my opinion.
Just okay. Well, speaking of just okay. What did you think about number 3?
Alex, I thought 3.0 is the best movie since
Sliced bread.
The Phantom Menace.
Oh.
Just kidding. I thought it sucked.
Just kidding.
I hated it, and I watched it years ago, hated it, never watched it again until today, and was hoping, hey, maybe I could like it again. And I hated it even more than I did back then. I hate this movie.
It was kind of confusing and kind of aggravating at the same time.
A little bit.
Yeah, like, so, first of all, it opens up with one of your favorite scenes.
Oh, naturally.
Yes.
Naturally.
And then he, like, wakes up from a coma after, like, 14 years?
Well, it starts off, and Asuka and Mari are in space because I guess they work together. I don't know. They don't explain anything.
She's just there now.
I guess these two, they know each other even though they were never introduced, which is kind of bizarre. And they're trying to, like, it's not clear what they were doing in the beginning, and then it's like, oh, idiot Shinji, do something, and then
then a fucking laser comes out and
it's like,
and kills stuff.
It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess he did that at the very end of the last movie, but it's like, it was unclear that was Shinji when I first watched it. When I first watched it all those years ago, I was like, wait, what?
I thought it was an angel.
But no, it is Shinji, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess he's fused with the Evangelion. I don't know why I said it in Japanese. Evangelion. So, okay. Then after that, it kind of cuts to some random fucking ship that I guess they built at some point.
Yeah, they built out of, like, EVA parts and duct tape and shit.
Like they have like okay,
and they can make other boats fly too.
Okay, let's break this down. Let's break this down.
Let's break it down.
Okay, so the third impact hit fucked up the entire world.
Yes.
And okay, so it's like now there's this new organization, Will, I think it was called. Willy, which is run by Misato, and they're hell bent on trying to destroy Nerve. You find this out like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
You don't know what the hell is going on for like the first 30 minutes. They're just focused with cool visuals the whole time, and it doesn't even look that good because everything's red.
And like, I'm just still focused on the fact that Shinji woke up from a coma after 14 years, and the first thing they do, strap a goddamn bomb collar to this poor boy's neck.
Okay, well, I think this is the point where we need to talk about this movie is aggravating to watch. It's almost just, it's to the point where it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing I hate in movies, it's something that can be avoided by conversation.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. If you literally just talked to each other, explained, hey, I don't know what's been going on for the past 14 years. I only remember this. Can you fill me in on what happened? No, they don't do that. They just slap a bomb collar on them and be like, hey, if you step off this ship, we're going to explode your head.
If you get in an Ava, we'll blow your brains out.
Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, that makes me want to not hang out with you guys anymore.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so he gets out of this coma, is brought to the bridge, no clue where he is. This guy's been asleep for 14 years.
And the one person he thinks he can trust and be happy towards, it just
disregards
him. Yeah, ignores him.
Like everybody. Okay,
I mean, she's the one in charge of the bomb collar.
It opens up. Everyone just looks at him with such a disdain. Everybody hates him.
I mean, I understood that because, well, I should say I understood that because he's the one that caused the 2.5 impact, and yeah, I can see why people don't like him.
Well,
but he doesn't know that.
Here's the thing, like okay, fine. Like if everybody else is kind of just like mad, like they have like frustration, like.
Well, I mean, if someone wiped out the entire population of the Earth, wouldn't you be a little upset towards them?
Of course, but this is somebody at the same time who was forced to do it against their will, and who was trying to help.
He was literally just following orders.
So like, but the thing is like you have Ritsuko, who never cared about children, to be fair. So fuck it. But you have Misato. It's like. This is a character who's always cared about the kids.
This was like the big sister.
This is the girl who was crying in the TV series because she thought that Shinji was gone forever. And here he is, and it's like, Shinji, don't do anything, you
Shinji,
stupid fuck.
Sit there and do nothing, you piece of shit.
It's like what is happening?
Exactly. That's what I wanted to scream at her. Just fucking talk to him.
Well, like
this whole shit can be settled if you just talk.
Well, I think it's important to mention, like, we don't know what's going on as an audience for the most part. The only thing we know is that the third impact happened, I guess, except it was supposed to kill humanity.
Yeah, I guess that's why I said it kind of happened.
I guess people survived, and they at the same time they started a new organization with what budget? I have no idea, but whatever.
The anarchist budget.
And then whatever. This hurts my brain.
And then spaceship, jellyfish. He leaves. And
okay, they get attacked, and then they start flying because they're using
the core from Unit 1
as the core. And then that's what's making everything float for some reason. They all float, but
they all float.
It's like
the boats.
It's like it's making everything float. I think this is the movie that just made me just think like, okay, Ano Hideki is more focused on making it look artsy than he is making it make sense. Because nothing makes sense, and it's just like a big mess. And we haven't even gotten to like NERV headquarters yet.
What NERV headquarters?
Okay, so speaking of NERV, we get to NERV headquarters in this movie. It's still somewhat functional, I guess, even though there's like 2 people.
Even though it is pretty much a crater.
You have Gendo Ikari and Fuyutsuki who still have this stupid plan that they've been doing.
Yeah. It's like, I must reunite with my dead wife.
Which can we mention like how the plan in the original series made sense, and how here it's just like, well, how has he planned this out?
Doesn't he just want to be with his wife?
Yes. And in the original series, it's like, okay, we have to kill all the angels, and then we'll merge with Lilith.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Here, it's like he has this huge scenario in his mind where the third impact happens, and then I guess they get a hold of Shinji, but then he gets a hold of Shinji, but then he loses control of Shinji, and then it's like, oh, this is exactly how Soleil planned it.
It's like,
what?
I've had this all according to plan. It's like, no the fuck you didn't. He escaped like 3 times.
It's like, this is what part of this is like
why would you plan this? Why would you want this to happen?
This is why it reminds me of like, the prequels. It's like the Emperor Palpatine like has this huge scheme going around where the whole universe is in conflict, and it's like, what's your end goal? How did you plan all of this out? How did you figure all this would lead to a Death Star?
Yeah, it's like, normally to deal with, the loss of a loved one, at the worst, people just drink. But no, this guy wants to fucking merge all of humanity because he misses his wife.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not. I think that is incredibly selfish.
Oh no, I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying like I'm fine with that being like his end goal.
Well,
like,
okay, yeah. I'm cool with him.
He's definitely not supposed to be a likable character.
Yeah. But it just doesn't make sense. Like just like order a prostitute, In the original,
move on. In the original one, it made sense though. It's like everybody becomes one, and he'll get to become one with Yui, and essentially become like a god, a divine being. But he gets punished because Yui's main goal, one, it was to protect Shinji.
Yeah.
And he absolutely did not do that.
You did not do the one job I wanted you to do.
And here it's just like a mess. It's like, okay, well, what was the goal then? What's your end game here?
It's like after the third impact, they forgot their plans, went back to Nerve HQ, and found their plans, but they were a little burnt, so that's what they went off of.
They're going off of
They're going off the burnt scraps that they had to piece together.
It says Shinji arrives, and then
says something about your wife. I'm not sure. Who's Lilith? Who's Lilin? I don't... No, we're just going to go with this?
Who's Lilin? Who's Lilith? Is Adam still a part of this? I don't know. They don't bring up Adam.
Yeah, Adam just kind of fucks off.
So, okay, yeah.
Are you sure this is what you wanted? Yes, just put it in the briefcase and we'll get back to it.
You know what's amazing? This movie is the shortest of the three, but it felt the longest.
Yeah.
Because a majority of it is boring. Even the action at points is just kind of boring and kind of dull.
Even the ending.
And, the ending. We'll get there, but...
It was so That's the only reason why I'm looking forward to the fourth movie, is because the ending to this was just not satisfying.
Well, there was no conclusion.
Exactly.
There was no conclusion. I mean, it's taken him 8 years. It better be good.
It better be fucking good.
Better be amazing.
We don't want a repeat of what happened last time you tried to end a series, do we? Do we need that?
Well,
no.
Okay, so what's good about the movie? We need to look. Not everything's terrible. I will admit, the one aspect I do like in the movie is Kaudu. Kaudu has a little bit more development than he did in the original series.
Yeah.
And he was likable in the original series, but he's like a throwaway character, really.
He just kind of came in, said I love you, and then died.
Yeah, here there's more to him.
Yeah, there's more of a bond formed.
Yes, and you see more of him engaging together, like him with Shinji engaging, and it's not particularly gay, but it is kind of...
It's okay.
You can tell it's a friendship blossoming.
Yes.
And I think that's probably the one aspect of this movie I was like, okay, I kind of like this.
It's a pure friendship, even though it's based on lies.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm really grasping at straws here to find things I like in this movie, because I don't like much. I mean, I guess I could go back to the animation, but I expect the animation to be good.
I mean, Unit 13 was kind of cool.
Oh, Unit 13. Oh, yeah. And
I guess he was pretty cool.
I guess those aren't real Evas, because they're not using nerves Evas. It's like, well, what's the difference? What? Where did you get the resources for this? How is this functional?
How did you do this? Tell me.
Where are they getting the money?
I don't think... okay. At this point, the world is so shitty, I don't think there's an economy
Where
anymore.
are they getting the resources? Where are all these people coming from?
I don't know.
Like,
you guys couldn't tell, but I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. Just, I don't know.
It's like, I don't get the movie. I really don't. I don't get the end goal. And I think Ano Hideki once said in an interview that he was like, they asked him, like, what was the worst point in your career? And he said, after 3.0 came out, because he was creatively bankrupt and he went back into depression. And I think that's the best way to describe this movie, is creatively bankrupt.
The spiral back into depression. It describes this movie perfectly.
Yeah, like everything that I love about Evangelion is kind of gone and absent in this movie in exchange for very artsy, bullshit that I don't care about. Okay, fine. Tokyo 3 is gone. Even though I love Tokyo 3, it's like, okay, fine. We lost it in the end of Evangelion. I still like that movie. Do we have a cool action scene? No, not really. All the action scenes are kind of like more of what I didn't like about 2.0, which was just they're just so crazy and unbelievable.
They were doing flips and shit and shooting lasers and fighting each other with spears. And it was weird.
Yeah, and again, a running theme, surprisingly even less character development than the second one.
Yes, this one, the character development is replaced with fights.
Fights and piano. Don't forget the piano,
that
Alex.
Too. But the piano was more in the same length. Like, it was how they bonded, I guess. You could say that.
Okay, I guess that was a little bit of character development.
Is like like, what happened with Asuka? She just has duct tape on her suit and she's missing an eye. And her Eva unit is missing an arm now. Can we get some explanation?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest one is like, who is Madi still? We didn't really.
I just forget about her.
She's in the movie.
Technically,
I think that's the best way to describe her character. She's in the movie, doesn't do much. They allude to she has something bigger planned, but who in Evangelion doesn't have things planned out?
It's all according to plan.
Like, everybody has a plan. You know, Misato has a plan. Shinji has a plan. Asuka has a plan.
It's
Madi
like, can
has
you
a plan,
guys
Gendo
make a
has
plan, but make it coherent?
Can you tell us what your goddamn plan is? And can you tell Shinji what the hell is going on?
Can you just help him understand it instead of, you have to think for yourself. You have to do this for yourself. It's like, no. You know, you can tell him, hey, you really shouldn't do this. Hey, you should really do this. You know, like, even in the ending, when, I don't know if you want to get to the ending yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're going up to get the 2 spears. And the other guy's just sitting there. Mr. Piano Boy's sitting over there with his fucking head in his hands.
Thinking.
Yeah, just sitting there. What is going on? I don't know what's going on. I wonder what her plan is. Oh my gosh, what is her plan? And he's sitting there, like, whispering to himself, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But Shinji's just sitting there, I'm gonna save the world!
Because that's what they told him.
Yeah, that's what he was told to do.
Yes. And we're supposed to be on the side of Misato and Asuka and all them. We're supposed to disagree with Shinji, but in the terms of the movie,
can't.
It's like I don't disagree with Shinji. I would be doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I was kind of like, you know, you just fucking talk to him. Maybe you could make him understand.
It's like, okay, here at Nerve, I got answers. Someone
yeah,
answers,
exactly. That's what it is.
And they explain stuff to me. At Willany, I don't know.
Piano Boy did.
No
one else really explained anything to him.
Misato doesn't explain anything.
Yeah, she just tells him to fuck off and do nothing.
They don't tell him what to do, and that's the biggest fault with the movie, because it's like everything could have been avoided if you guys just went up to him. You know, you guys
just went up to him, sat him down, maybe got him a cookie or something, a glass of milk, you know, and then was just like, look, you know. And just laid it out for him, like, regardless of how hurt he was. Honestly, for fucking Willie's plans, that would have been perfect, because after Piano Boy explained it to him, he got depressed and started doing nothing.
Yeah.
They could have literally just told him the truth, and he would have shut down completely.
Well,
and they could have locked him in a room and done nothing.
He would have been compliant. He would have been like, oh, okay. Like, here's what I would expect from the sequel of the last movie. For one, I would expect at least a little bit of closure on him saving Rei. That literally leads to nothing in this movie.
Like, oh, I saved her. No, you didn't. But I have the tape recorder. No, you don't.
And then,
but she's literally right there piloting an Eva unit trying to save me. No, she's not.
Yeah, so...
then what the fuck is it?
It's like, okay, they don't explain what, like... Did he not save Rei then? I don't know.
Yeah.
I assume, like, the whole idea is like, okay, she's trapped in.
Yeah,
Unit
that's
01.
That's the points that I caught, because I was actually trying to pay attention for them, like, really hard. Basically, if you didn't watch the series, she's a clone. Tons of clones. And I guess that she got absorbed into Unit 1's core, just like his mom did.
Which may or may not still be Yui at this point? I mean, at no point in the Rebuild series does it ever show that...
It's Ryui.
It never shows that it's, like, that 01 is sentient.
Yeah.
It never does that.
I mean, the only point in which it does is when it kind of goes berserk.
But then they kind of make that pointless, because then the other ones go berserk.
Unit 2 goes berserk. And then it's like, oh, well, I guess that plot point is kind of forfeit.
Yeah, and then...
Nice visuals, though.
Oh, yeah. Nice. It looks cool. So, yeah, I don't know if they're still doing where Yui is trapped inside, or is inside Unit 1. But who cares?
Yeah, it's like, for God's sakes, can you just either make her a character or don't make her a character? Don't just... Oh, she's gone. Nope, she's back, but she's a clone. She doesn't remember anything.
Like, okay, like, I like the idea of Rey. I like what they were doing. I liked where they were going with her in the Rebuild series. They were following more of the manga route, which is cool. But then they don't do anything with it because it doesn't lead to anything in the end.
Yeah.
We never see her reaction, really. We don't see anything lead up to it.
We don't see her in general until, like, towards the end.
Yeah, like, that's where it's like, okay, there's a glimpse of hope. Like, okay, Rey's starting to realize that she is more, there's more to her than just taking orders.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But then Misato essentially does nothing in this movie of any
She's
substance.
there to tell Shinji to do nothing, and then she leaves.
That's the thing. That's the problem with the movie. It needed to have Misato be the heart, the core. Because that's...
Yeah. You would think of all the people that she would be the one by his side.
Especially,
even if she put up a front for her
especially
crew.
because it's her fault that this happened.
Yeah.
You
It's
forced him.
You literally told him to execute Order 66. How do you not expect children to die? How can you get pissed at him for that?
Well, yeah. I think I'm done talking about Evangelion for a long time.
Let's not stick a knife in it because there's still a fourth movie.
Oh shit! Yeah. Before we leave, we saw the trailer for the fourth movie.
Yes.
I'm personally not interested. You kind of are.
I am, only because I am not satisfied with the third one. I still have plenty of questions that I would enjoy being answered, that I think deserve to be answered.
Right. And I mean, the
ending to the third one is just they walk off into the desert and then the credits roll, and it's like, what's going on with that? Where are they going? How are they going to get there? What's going to happen to them?
Yeah. No, there's no closure, no real ending, and it's a mess.
Yeah, it's just kind of like they walk off into the deserts.
And I'm not exaggerating to the audience watching. I do hate this movie. I think it's a big pile of trash.
It's big doo-doo.
I don't like it. Which is why I never watched it again after first seeing it.
Until today.
Until today. It's like, yeah, I don't like this movie. But yeah, so Alex, I mean, comparing it as a whole, I guess, to the original series and as by itself, what do you think about the first three Rebuild Evangelion movies?
I think the first one was the absolute best. I loved it because it added new points to the original material that made it better and helped me to understand it better. Second one, action was aight, visuals were good, story, it was there.
Okay.
Third one, all over the place, not satisfied, didn't answer any questions, brought up more questions, and then just kind of flicked me into the river like a fucking booger.
Right.
And now I'm here. So that's my opinions of all three movies. I'm not saying don't watch them. You should watch them. They're good movies, at least in succession, not by themselves.
Yeah. Watch the original series because they may not make sense without it.
You could kind of get away with it.
If you could skip. I mean, maybe if you want. I mean, I don't see why you would, but you could probably skip the first 6 episodes because the first movie does a good job of recapping it.
Yeah, like that's why I said you can kind of watch. You can kind of start with the movies, but I would highly recommend starting with the original series,
which just has more.
Then going on to the movies, because A, stuff does make a lot more sense when you watch it the second time.
Yes.
B, it makes you understand the characters better. Because God knows that if you just start off with the movies, you will not give a fuck about these characters.
Right.
You'll just be like, oh, okay, they're all depressed. Neat. When's the action coming back? Is this Pacific Rim 3?
Well, yeah, I think I would agree. I really love the first movie. I think it's really good, really entertaining. I like the action. I like the aesthetics. The voice acting is terrific, as always, and I think they did a good job of recapping the first 6 episodes.
Except the English.
When,
you know, when he's talking to the soldiers.
Oh, that was the second movie.
Oh, that was?
Yeah.
Either way.
All right,
My
so
point still stands.
anyways, yeah, I really like the first movie. Second movie is messy. I love certain aspects of it. Certain scenes I really love, and there's large portions of the movie I think are great. But I'm not a fan of the action that they go for. I prefer the... they still have never topped Asuka versus the mass production Evas in End of Evangelion, which is still just the best that the action has ever gotten.
Yeah.
They never quite reached that in here. There's a lot of missing story elements. They did not recreate episode 8, which is very disappointing for me.
Yes.
And I think the ending is just goes off the rails.
No, it doesn't, because it just kind of goes and it doesn't go anywhere.
And then you have 3.0, which I hate and I don't like talking about.
Yeah.
So as a whole, do I like the Rebuild series? No, but it's got good things.
No question mark, but it's aight.
but there are good things about it. I've never claimed that Evangelion is a masterpiece. It has a lot of problems. There are lots of flaws with it, and if people don't like the original series, I completely understand why. It's not perfect, and it's got a lot of issues.
Like me.
But personally, yeah, like you.
Except a lot more issues.
But personally, I think the original series has a lot more depth to it, and it's a lot more entertaining in certain ways. It has a lot more charm to it that it has to offer. In these movies, it's just a lot of eye candy.
Mm-hmm. It's for the people that like Pacific Rim, but just wished for more of a plot.
Oh yeah, the people who love Pacific Rim will love this.
The entire audience.
Well, yeah. So I don't know that I would recommend these movies without watching the show.
Yep.
So do I recommend it? No, if you haven't seen the series. If you have seen the series,
watch the series first.
Why not?
Then, sure. Go knock yourself out. It's on Netflix. Why not?
Yep.
Fuck it.
So, Alex, we just watched it. Thank you guys for watching.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this video isn't too long.
If you guys have watched Evangelion, the Rebuild series, what did you think? Did you love it, hate it, don't care about it, never want to talk about it? You hate us for even talking about it? Leave it down in the comments down below. We read your comments sporadically.
And don't forget to support us on Patreon.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Grant.
And I'm Alex.
We're for one fair review, as always.
We will see you next time.
Have a nice day.